This episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by HostGator. Coming up, Don Cheadle is back and he hits the small screen in the Showtime TV show House of Lies.
And welcome to the Totally Rad Show. We've got a great week. Today we're going to be talking about the new Showtime series starring Don Cheadle's House of Lies.
And then tomorrow we're talking about a little video game you may have heard of. I like to call it Sweater. It's Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yes.
And then on Wednesday,
Upper crusting it?
we're upper crusting it with the Upper Crusted Society
Yeah.
with a show called Downton Abbey. Dan's keeping up, everybody.
Dan is totally keeping up. We're keeping the lip stiff and upper. We're going to be talking about the arts house film, The Artist.
Yes, and then Friday we're wrapping things up by mashing things up.
Yes.
It's another exciting installment of Media Mashup. Oh, guys,
Yes.
forgot to tell you this before the show. There's two bits of business that I want to wrap up right here. First of all,
Okay.
there was we did our Christmas holiday gift giving episode, and I recommended a hot sauce. Remember?
Yes, yes.
And then
you said maybe out of business.
Well,
you don't
the
know, you
website
can't
went
find
down
it.
like
Right.
literally the day after our episode debuted, and nobody
Right.
could find it.
Right.
I was just in Toronto over the holidays.
Yes.
I investigated because they're based in Whitby, which is
Right. Near Toronto.
near Toronto. And sadly, the guy who makes it passed away
Oh boy.
in November, really recently. Like, I had no idea.
And he didn't have like his recipe somewhere?
No,
That
they're
could be, like-
going. They're
in
going
an
to.
armoire?
They're going to start making more, and I will
good.
tell people when they do. I have no connection with this
Yeah.
at all. I just found out.
Wow.
So I apologize for recommending something that nobody could get, but you will be able to get it at some point.
Yes.
And the second thing is I keep forgetting, I think all of us would like to thank the person who is updating our Wikipedia page.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I know it was super helpful for me.
Oh God, yeah.
Thank you
That
so
end
much
of
for
the year
doing
stuff
that.
was a little.
Yes.
That,
We
that was
needed that
only
thing.
there.
I wanted to bring that up at the end of the year, and I totally forgot. So
Yeah, perfect.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank
mystery.
you,
Also,
whoever you are.
Hero.
We love thanking people. What about the guy who made the background?
Oh yes,
Jamie Chestnut. Jamie or James? Jamie Chestnut?
We
Jamie
like
Chestnut.
Jamie Chestnut. which
Bam.
Is that a cool name or what?
Yeah, it's super cool.
This is a pretty rad 3D kind of deal.
Yeah, totally is. All right, let's get into it. Today we are back in television. Yesterday, Showtime's new series House of Lies premiered. It's based on a memoir called House of Lies.
House O' Flies.
House O' Flies. But the House of Flies memoir is about a Thai food place. I don't know why there's flies in a Thai food
It's
place.
not a very good type of place.
Well, it's
unclean.
shady stuff. So House of Lies follows Don Cheadle's character as the lead of a management consultant group whose job it is to travel the country and try to help failing businesses stay afloat. The first episode starts with them going into a bank that is has a PR trouble, aka the horrible what do they call it? Mortgage issues.
Yeah, it's basically
that
Bear
happen.
Stearns or
Yeah,
one
or
of those.
Lehman
Morgan,
Brothers or one of those
Stanley,
things, yeah.
Dean Witter.
So, Jeff Kanata,
Yes, sir.
House of Lies.
House
What did you
of
think?
Lies. Well, it's got a great cast. I like me some Don Cheadle.
Yep.
I
Kristen
like me
Bell's
some
great.
Kristen Bell.
Yep.
And I'm really a huge fan of Ben Schwartz. I've actually hung out with him a couple times, and super cool guy. And I've been rooting for him.
Yeah.
He's amazing as Jean Ralphio on what's that called? Parks and Rec. So I was very excited about seeing this. Unfortunately, this show is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And it saddens me to say so, because as I said, rooting for him and all those guys. But boy, clearly someone at Showtime said, get us something to replace Entourage. And they went, okay, we can do that. We'll get you lots of TNA, and we'll make sure people are yelling cunt every couple of minutes. And it'll be salacious and fun, and there'll be lesbians in the first episode, and there'll be a strip club in the first episode, and don't worry, people are gonna love it. Unfortunately, I didn't see much to like there. There's some quirky characters that have potential, I suppose. Like a son who's a cross-dressing son. It's kind of an interesting idea, I suppose. But the show relies on this sort of stepping out from the camera and stepping out from the scene and speaking directly to the camera, which I can't seem to do right now. And it's a really slick technique that they employ. Some fun camera moves, and still freezing the world and speaking to the camera. And they use it, at least early on, to explain what he's doing. And yet, for all of that, I had no idea what this guy actually was supposed to be doing. There's no interesting bits about the actual
job of
machinations of what that job is and what he's there to do. All we know is that he needs to wow these people in some nebulous, undefined way. And at the end, miraculously, he wows them in some nebulous, undefined way that we never see how the presentation he gets to at the end was put together, or where that came from, or even the spark of that idea. It just sort of happens.
Yeah, interesting.
There's a moment where a woman stands up at dinner and yells something at a guy that if I wasn't reviewing this, I would have been like, click, that's all I need to see. When she's like, she made me, it's like, I'm done with this show.
Interesting. Okay, so not a show for
Don't
Jeff.
you love,
Dan?
correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Don't you
Breasts
love,
openly shared with the world? Yes, I do.
no, don't you love Californication?
No.
Ah.
So
I watched
Dan,
one episode of Californication
Yeah.
and never watched it again.
And so somebody stood up and you went, doop. So Daniel, Trachtenberg, Showtime.
I mean, I also
House of Lies.
didn't like the show. The funny thing is, I'm very similar to Jeff, too. I'm a massive fan of Ben Schwartz as a comedian. I've been waiting for him to break out. And
Which one was Ben Schwartz? The other?
It's hard to describe.
The dark-haired assistant guy, not the blonde assistant guy, the other dark.
That's not really blonde.
Yeah, I was
though.
like, there's a blonde guy? Who's the blonde guy?
Just
Well,
a
he's
darker-haired
the
guy.
confident one. There's a one who's kind of like, with the glasses. It doesn't matter. We'll talk.
doesn't
We'll talk
matter.
about
One
that.
of the
We'll talk
guys,
later.
one of the two other guys.
Anyway, it's a shame because I really hope it one day happens for him. I thought this would be. I thought I was going to watch the show for him. I thought I was going to watch Undercovers for him. I thought, it's not happened yet.
It will.
Hopefully it will. Because the show I did not like. The funny thing is, I should be able to say, man, was this style over substance. But the style, and by the way, it goes without saying, this is a pilot. Everything could change. Things that feel like could end up being amazing and twisted later and all that stuff. But I will say that just tonally, the style of the show wasn't that cool. And because it's banking on it being cool. The thing that's fun, I love when movies get break the fourth wall, when Ferris Bueller talks to the camera, when in Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, when we get a very aggressive style, there's freeze frames and frozen moments and characters turning to you or whatever it is, and Spike Jonze movies, Michel Gondry, whatever. I love that kind of thing, but it's not even cool. It's a very dated effect. It looks like it's from the 90s. And the things that you're articulating, a lot of times people condemn when there's voiceover in something because you feel like you're just masking the story, but I think a lot of people get excited about what's the tone of a voiceover, the tone of when a style can be so seductive because it's so cool. But here I feel like they don't even gain anything from it. When he does this guy's in a meeting and he shows flashcards, what the thing, that could have been really fun and adds a layer
sound
to the
effect
joke.
with it's like, what are we in a cartoon now?
Yeah, it's not, but it didn't even add. Well, that was funny. I get why they did it, but none of that was. I guess the point is none of that was clever. Whereas, but I don't think they missed. I don't feel like anyone was trying to be clever with that stuff. It just didn't feel.
Almost like it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
So I also didn't love the show, but there are things in the show that I did enjoy. I thought the first 2 or 3 scenes, I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be a great show. When
the opening
he wakes
shot's
up,
pretty cool.
Yeah, when he wakes up, but then also when he wakes up and what is happening when he wakes up, and then the sun coming, you know what I mean? And then the breakfast, all of that stuff, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be really great. I'm learning a lot about this character. It's a very interesting situation. Wow, cool. Then it kind of just goes to, I think what you were saying, the sort of the MacGuffin of what they do. It's almost like they profess to do magic, but then they don't show you the trick, nor do they show you a magic trick.
Right.
So it's sort of like they don't give you anything to enjoy in it. Like a magic trick, you go, ooh, I don't even know how you would possibly do that. That's the joy, and they don't even give you that. I mean, it's sort of like, oh, you just, I mean, that seems like a smart idea, I guess.
And on top of that, he seems really shitty at his job.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. There's a
Excuse me, that was me.
John Hamm, not John Hamm. What's the character he plays? Don Draper quality to him and his
Yeah.
job.
I think that they pushed it. I think that for me, it felt like let's do a modern take on Mad Men.
Yeah.
But then because we're on Showtime, let's amp up the guy's character to a point that it's sort of so over the top. There was definitely some fun. I actually enjoyed the lesbians. I have been known to. That was a fun. That was a fun little twist on a scene. That whole experience of that
silly.
dinner. I liked it. I was like, this is fun. There is stuff that I found enjoyable with it, but on the whole, I think it was just sort of an okay show. It didn't do anything for me, and I think that those same things that you guys were talking about were big issues for me.
You know what I think the weird thing was is that we all have expectations of what that job would be. The whole public now that job has become a sort of a public thing.
I almost feel like
in
this
in today's
it should have been
economic
up in
day
the air,
and age.
the TV show.
Right. It should. So you would think that what they would do is we all know what you guys think of these kinds of what they do, and here's what it's really like, and how show that they're not all sleazy and they're not all.
Yeah, or at least
really
one
like,
of them.
It's exactly what I expected. Whereas like the open,
not what I expected.
even in the opening shot, that does some subverts what you think. Like, oh, you think it's this, but it's actually, there's this other thing. But everything else,
exactly.
right? There's
Yeah,
mystery
that's
in that, But there's no, everything else is kind of like, so these are sleazy people doing sleazy things in sleazy ways.
Yeah, if they had kept that sort of like turning things on its head as they did with that first opening scene, which is what I was like, oh, so this could be very interesting. Yeah. If they had kept that going through and sort of taking our idea of what we were going to see and flipping it, that could have been fun.
It seems like this is Don Cheadle. This is Hotel Rwanda. It's like it seems beneath him.
This is Hotel
don't think
Rwanda?
that,
No,
like-
that's the guy.
you mean
The
actor. But I don't think
it just feels like trash to me. I really did not like it.
Yeah, I didn't go that
feel
far.
like
there was
could-
definitely stuff
I mean,
that was
it
enjoyable
feels that
in it,
way.
but-
I know where you're coming from, Jeff, but I also feel like, that's why I want to say this is a pilot, because I feel that way about this. But like, sometimes things start out that way, and then it's like watching the pilot.
Cougar Town.
Yeah, there you go.
Although I will say there is something to
But
the
things
fact
start
that,
to mine.
Yeah, but there is something to the
You
fact
know
that
there's
this
redemptive
character, there
qualities.
was stuff in this character that I did enjoy, and it ended on a note that I was like, oh, okay, they could get into some really interesting stuff. His father's an ex-psychoanalyst and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And what happens when you, there is something satisfying with setting up a character and then putting that character into a situation in which you know how that character is going to respond, and then all you see of the scene is, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And it's like, man, I know where this is going because I know that guy, and that's where, and then it ends up there. So there is some satisfying stuff there. But maybe we'll come back to it.
I'm not watching.
Okay. Thank you very much.
It's the style, it's the tone of it
Hey,
isn't
my fist is
uninviting.
out. My fist is
regardless
out.
of all this stuff.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, HostGator.com. HostGator can get your blog or website up and running in minutes. With plans starting at just $3.96 a month, you get 24/7 support and access to website building tools
Easy for you to
with
say.
over 4,000 templates. They'll even migrate your current site over to them for free. Plus, servers are 130% powered by wind energy.
That sounds impossible.
Unlimited disk space and bandwidth, 45-day money-back guarantee, $100 Google AdWords credit to market your site. For Revision 3 viewers, HostGator is offering 25% off your order, or the first month is completely free.
That's
Just go to
great.
HostGator.com and enter the coupon code TotallyRadShow at checkout.
That's our show.
That's our show. Our show
Oh, hey, we
is done.
got some sweet Jinx products, don't we, Dan?
We do. Jinx.com/TRS to get 2 new sweatshirts, 2 new t-shirts. Very cool looking. Jinx.com/TRS.
I hit you in the balls.
Why did you hit me in the nose? Hit you in the hand right now.
Check us out tomorrow for our review of Star Wars The Old Republic.
So today's Twitter question comes to us from @1821. Is there an LA tourist attraction or landmark you've always meant to see over the years, but you never did? Do you guys have these?
There's definitely one for me.
Which is it?
It's ridiculous that I've been to it, but I've never visited and looked at, and it's the La Brea Tar Pits.
Weird.
Interesting.
Mine's right next to it. LACMA.
Oh,
And
that was cool.
I lived
Oh,
here,
yeah.
which is
Right,
about
stone's throw.
less than a mile away.
Yeah.
And also the Getty. I've never been inside the Getty.
You never been to
Also,
the Getty?
that's a really fun experience, and it's free.
Yeah. Oh no, and you get up there and it's like being in a
It's
different
awesome.
place.
Yeah.
Funny enough, mine, La Brea Tar Pits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's right down the street from the house.
I don't
It's like-
understand. I know I would find it fascinating.
yeah. No, you know what the other one is?
There's
the
not
car
that much to
museum.
it.
The car museum is another
Yeah,
one.
never been there.
I see it all the time, but I'm like, dude, they got great cars in the car museum. Thank you very much at 1821.